This film has got comedy, it's got music, a whole lot of 80s yeehaw. Tighten up your leather chaps and let's get to it. Sly Stallone, the Italian stallion, Rocky Balboa, teaming up with the queen of country sass and yes, Dolly Parton. Each caricature is equally readable through their actual written characters. We're gonna see Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton in a movie together, playing an unlikely country duo, but we're really just watching Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton. So Dolly actually wrote several songs for the film, and there's an album out there that you can get. And Stallone, well, he gave singing a shot. Bless his heart. Isn't that what they say in the South? Have you ever heard Sylvester Stallone sing? All right, guys, we're looking at Rhinestone today. I scored a dead stock DVD that was on Amazon. Apparently, it's been out of print since 2005. We'll take a look through it and see what it has to offer. I got a good feeling about this one. Oh, cool. So the movie kicks off with a character called Mr. Hugo, rolling up in his white classic car like he owns the place, because he does. Good evening, Mr. Hugo. It's always a good evening when you're rich, kid. Oh, how nice it is to be rich. Classic 80s, right? Back then, being rich was like a superpower.
Dolly Parton and Sylvester Stallone are living proof. Rich is better and more fun.
And now for our characters. We have Sly Stallone's character, whose name is Nick, a rough around the edges New York cabbie. And then we have Dolly's character, whose name is Jake, and she's a sweet and sassy songbird who is a regular performer with a contract at the Rhinestone Club. So we've got Jake avoiding the sleazy advances of Mr. Hugo. Despite his attempts, she stands her ground, showcasing her strength and independence.
Freddie, don't involve me in your fantasies. I ain't never been to your place. I wouldn't come to your place with a quart of Lysol and a fumigation trim.
Yeah, well, I must admit I love having you around for inspirational reasons.
Freddie Hugo is a total horny club boss. Freddie's got a new star in the wings. A man in black and gold. A man who's lived. He looks the part. He walks the part. He's even got a scar on his face. A total badass that commands the room's attention.
Shut up! You blow that thing one more time, son, you're gonna be eating it for a midnight snack. You understand me?
This guy's serious.
He's bringing it right away. People are listening. This is what you want as a performer. And for all the Canadians out there, the way that he bends that mic stand, it reminds me of Thor. If you are old enough to know, then you know.
This is a song I wrote for my baby.
But then he throws it all away when he's got this corny ballad about his wife getting run over by a tractor and dying. It's so cookie bad, it's good. There's actually a lot of rooms in my town that would actually find this guy pretty entertaining. Oh, get out of here! So Dolly's not impressed that Mr. Hugo put his money and time into this man in black and gold.
Freddie,
Yeah.
you ain't nothing but an egotistical fool trying to turn these hopeless amateurs into the Rhinestone Cowboy.
Is that a fact?
That's a fact. Shoot, if I had half a chance, I could turn anybody into a Rhinestone Cowboy, and I could do it a lot better than you, that's for sure.
Really?
Really.
And their conversation leads to a bet between them. And there's this weird moment where Freddie Hugo inserts into the bet that Jake, should she lose the bet, will sleep with Freddie Hugo.
If you win, I'll tear up the contract, but if you lose, the contract stands, plus another 5-year option. And you sleep with me.
She balks, but then she takes the deal.
Hey! What's the matter? Either way, you're gonna come out a big winner.
All right,
Yeah?
I'm gonna take that bet.
Sure, it was different times. I guess a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. If they had a scenario like this in a film today, it would no doubt be extremely villainized, and for good reasons, because times have changed for the better, even though this kind of thing still happens. Further in this bet, the details include it has to be a normal, average guy. Why not a lady? So after examining two mentally ill people on the street, why is that being presented in the film? Why are they presenting like, oh, well, we're going to find our average guy on the street. Let's just, oh yeah, look, here's some people down on their luck. They're regular average people. It's cringe for me. It's cringe for me. I can't help it. Times have changed. Times have changed. I know it's not 1980, whatever. Okay. So now over to where we're trying to get Nick to the club.
Hold on! Buzzer!
He causes chaos on the streets of New York. Anyway, moving on.
Did you see that? Hey, where you going? I'll be right back.
Enter Nick the cab driver, who is, oh my God, anything but ordinary.
Well, you can't expect me to turn that into a singer.
I know.
Where are all the lepers when I need one?
The perfect project for Freddie Hugo. And so we found our regular guy, but Jake doesn't want him. He's loud, uncouth, unrefined, and rude. And clearly actually not a regular guy.
Here you go.
Nick ignores Hugo and hits on Jake, and even blames the accident that took place earlier on her looks. It's also revealed here that he thinks country music is corny.
What bet?
Singing bet.
Are you kidding? I can't stand that hillbilly hick stuff. You gotta be kidding.
After calling him a horny toad, Nick leaves. Hugo wins.
Ma, what's a girl to do?
She reminds him that she's got 2 weeks of time.
If you insist on going through with this stupid ass bed, okay. But you gave me 2 weeks, remember? And the next time you feel romantic, don't call me. Why don't you try the city zoo?
Jake finally tracks him down, and he promptly rolls in with his jacked up cab at the cabbie depot.
Sort of right there.
We get a quick exchange with his boss, and then he quits.
How convenient.
Look, Freddie said he'd pay all expenses for the bed, so what we tell him is that you won't go through with this unless he pays for the repairs.
Jake is encouraging.
Can we go see Freddie?
Okay, but don't take advantage of me.
Nick decides to give it a chance. Two of them make their way to Hugo's high-class, tacky, decorated dwelling. I mean, this place looks like it was decorated by the It Store. If you remember the It Store, leave us a comment. A deal is made, and now Jake is ready to foster her relationship with Nick. Just as an aside, I love how they purposefully and obviously show us that Freddie Hugo's initials are FU. Next up, a joke about Nick showing Jake his organ.
Why do you think I'm conning you? I'm telling you, I really do have this big organ.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
All right, we'll go to your place and you can show me your organ. But I'm warning you, it best be having music coming out of it.
Nick's family own and run a funeral home, and they live above it. Okay, he's relaxed and he's ready to show her his stuff. She encourages him, and it's really terrible. Okay, so this is kind of complicated to explain. So the organ room is actually meant for the funeral home, and they're kind of connected at the same time. So if somebody's playing the organ in the organ room, then people in the funeral parlor down below can actually hear what you're playing on the organ because it's designed that way.
Well, now, if you're going to sing country, you're going to have to think it, walk it, talk it, sleep it. Hey, why don't we discuss that over a friendly lunch?
Out to lunch with the parents. Mother is unimpressed by Jake, of course. Nick's parents are not very supportive of him going to Tennessee to learn how to become a country star.
But he can't learn nothing new here, folks.
His parents have weird ideas about what happens in the South.
Please. They even get diseases from sleeping with animals.
Jake lays it out what's going to happen in Tennessee with conviction and strength and confidence.
This man's going to be a country singer. He's going to win that bed. He's going to win my contract, going to win that taxi. But most of all, he's going to be gone.
She's taking the win as we watch. Nick's journey to become a country singer immediately takes him to Tennessee. He's instantly a city boy in the wrong place. As he's introduced to Jake's stock of people, Daddy comes along and picks them up to take them home.
How they hanging, troops?
Oh, real mature Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Daddy.
A very interesting conversation takes place where Dad asks about the bet that Jake has with her boss as they're riding home.
What I don't understand is what happens if you lose the bet.
I was gonna ask you that. What's in it for Freddie?
Nothing. I just don't get my contract back.
And that's it?
That's it.
Even though what's really part of the deal is that she's going to sleep with him. Let's not forget that that's actually a part of this. I hate to keep going on about it. It's just so it's gross. It's gross. The fact that it's in a film presented to you as popular culture in 1984 tells you a lot about how dominant the male gaze is in this film's setting. I feel worried about her most of all. Not so much about Nick. I worry more about Jake than I worry about Nick for all the obvious reasons. She's already confident in her producer abilities to win this bet. So I guess I wouldn't tell my dad either, because these are the things that are at stake. First of all, you have revealing to your dad that you work in a really sleazy business. And secondly, you clearly on your way to having some kind of interest in a person that you're developing a relationship with, and you don't want to turn them off of that. Also putting the bet in jeopardy. Even though this love interest is young at this point, she wouldn't want to squash her chances at developing a real relationship with this person. Or is that wrong? Is that wrong? Are we not there yet? I want you to tell me. I mean, agree with the assessment. I'm open to it. I'm open to it. Okay, so here we get our next taste of cringe, but we've already established that he is a rock and roll fan. So he's just doing what he knows and he's letting it all hang out and expressing himself among the small town's smooth country players and singers. It's pretty clear that they find it unhinged, unrefined, not good. It's not their flavor of ice cream whatsoever. And really bad timing. I have to stress the bad timing of the performance. So bad. Even the animals hate it. But I will say it's certainly not without spirit. Here in Tennessee, he hilariously fails at everything from chopping wood to playing spoons. Jake pushes him really hard because she really wants to show him the ropes. It's all too much for Nick because he's immediately feeling the pressure. And wouldn't you know it, Nick and Jake begin to bicker.
Damn bum. You don't want to work. You don't even know the meaning of that word.
Color, Nicholas, gone.
Oh, wow. Here we go again. I can't stop watching. It's clearly too much for Nick. He takes off out the door and finds somewhere to go.
I don't need a ride. Thanks anyway.
Why don't you get in?
No, matter of fact, I'm just down here doing this survey on little country roads, and I was wondering, what do you think of this road, this street, highway?
I said get in.
Tell me what you thought of that scene. Was it threatening? Was it funny? Was it confusing?
Did you think that somebody inserted that as a joke because they thought it was funny in 1983 or 4? That's what I think happened. At a local honky-tonk, Nick befriends some local folks and gets drunk on a bunch of bar beers. His transformation from city slicker to country performer is in full swing.
A couple beers for my friend here.
Hey, don't tell me, autopsy is your hobby, right?
What's that, a slug trail?
Couple of dudes bonding at the bar. So, turns out the fella is somebody named Barnett Cale, who is another character in this story. He's Jake's old cheatin' ex. Okay, so Nick gets really wasted and then ends up waking up among the animals on the farm.
They even get diseases from sleeping with animals.
Drops the name Barnett Kale. She freaks out. They make up for their bickering session and the collaboration is back on and they're friends again. Okay, so this is my favorite part. This is the part where Nick gets a country makeover from, the people that are taking care of him. Cue the song Drinkenstein, which I think might be a karaoke favorite among some people. In his country duds, Nick reminds me of a kindergartner dressed up for mom on Christmas. And it's a performance that is just so stiff and cringe. It's both funny and not funny, perplexing, and amazing. Remember, he is a rock and roller, and we're trying to stifle that. It's really hard to turn your head away from this performance. I mean, I wouldn't call it a train wreck, because the dude is trying. He's trying. The character is trying, but it's still pretty bad. Does Jake have a chance of even winning? And then during all of this, Barnett shows up for some reason, and then teaches Nick how to walk like a cowboy. There's a reoccurring jock itch joke. Tell me in the comments, is jock itch still funny?
Hey, Nick, you ever had jock itch?
Was that a national pastime down here?
Jake just tried to use the same technique with Nick, but looks like he had to hear it from the old boy. There they go.
There you go.
Okay, so next they drunk drive to the honky tonk. And it seems like Nick is getting sick of Barnett and his crew. Jake shows up for a dance with Nick. Immediately, we have conflict among the men.
Look, I don't know about you, but I've had just about as much fun as I can stand. Can we go now?
Go! I gotta waffle this guy.
Look, you start a fight now and all bets are off, you understand?
And Jake needs to teach Nick to walk away from the fight.
Yes, Mom.
Well, good, let's go.
At the farm, among training and personal moments, Jake and Nick almost share a kiss. Their chemistry builds, making you root for them. So now, Jake and Nick test out their performance at the local honky tonk, where Barnett and the boys are shit staring them down. To sum it up, a bar brawl almost ensues, and then Jake knocks out Barnett.
It's vendetta time.
Hey, look, violence ain't the way. And besides, I want to do it.
Then as soon as that happens, Jake and Nick then get up on the stage and do a duet. They have a nice night. They go back to Daddy's place, and then they bond all the way. We're on our way to a happy ending, right? Wrong. So back in New York, Nick is finally ready for the big performance. Jake is worried about losing the bet, but Nick is confident. Nick's friends and family throw him a party, toasting his admirable transition. Nick gets a dose of reality in front of the entire family.
And you know how I feel about you, but you ain't a real singer yet. You're sort of like a robot right now. We put you together like a mud pie.
You can't be a gold star country performer after 2 weeks of work? What?
She basically embarrasses both of them in front of the entire group of family and friends and then blurts out the finer details of the deal that she's got with Freddie Hugo. Then a very public fight happens.
Don't ever trust a man. The bet's off!
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe for you, but not for me, because I'll be there.
Nick arrives at the club, ready to go, in a very dramatic fashion. As a viewer, you are absolutely behind him. You want him to succeed. So Jake, realizing that she needs to go to Freddie Hugo's to go one way or another, she travels over to his place. He invites her in. There's this moment where he actually literally locks her in the room.
Good night, Freddie.
Hang on.
While all of this is happening, Nick rushes out of the club because he realizes what's going on after talking to one of the bar girls. And after not being able to hail a cab, in his rhinestone one-piece, hops on top of a horse and heads straight to Freddie Hugo's apartment. Nick makes his way up to Freddie Hugo's condo and is able to barge in by his strength. We are hit with the idea that Jake is able to punch out Freddy Uger on her own. She's just fine. And oh my God, she did it again.
You did it again!
And then at this point, they finally make up and they decide that they need to continue their collaboration for the big performance. So let's get back to the club. Nick starts out shaky but wins over the crowd. They bring down the house, winning the bet and securing their future. Transitions. So before I give my overarching thoughts, I just want to give out the MVP in Acting Award in Rhinestone to Ron Leibman. He was actually my favorite character in the film and the best actor. Nobody else in this film had chops like this guy did. This film is odd, but not so odd at the same time. It's like it's trying to seduce you by being cute and funny, but it comes across overall as a cringe maneuver, and you just can't be baited. But I've been baited, and apparently you have too. So something worked. So Dolly and Stallone, they make an unlikely pair, yes. They're also very well matched. I can't really quite put my finger on it to articulate why they are so well matched. Maybe they couldn't either. Maybe that's why Rhinestone failed as a popular film. Each of their celebrity was way too big to be able to handle a story like that, even though each of them fit into those characters so well. Each of them were just too big. Now, I wouldn't not recommend this to somebody that likes to watch films, especially if you like films about music. I would absolutely check this out because it is very different. There's a genuine attempt to be wholesome despite the time that it came out and what was normal back then. Stallone even co-wrote the screenplay here. So upon knowing that, the judgment that I place on this is like, he was up on a high horse at the time. He was feeling like anything that was going to come out of his fingertips and his brain was going to be funny. And he probably had that kind of status at the time where he could just say, yeah, I'm going to write it. And then we came up with this. There's a lot of bits that are really funny, but most of it is not funny. The script is giving me like class clown on force. It's corny and I'm okay with that, but I bet whatever original story existed prior to the meddling of the script, maybe there was a lot more substance there. Maybe there was a lot more character, maybe a little bit something that was healthier for the brain. My knee-jerk reaction to this is that Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton tried this out just to see what it was their star power could do together. Both massively huge celebrities at the time. They must have known exactly what they were doing. I mean, it's all very calculated. Like, what do you think? What do you think of that analysis? I'm really glad I'm not an adult in the 80s. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. I will be doing more videos like this. I'm just going to keep on making stuff. And if you're around to see it, I thank you so much. Have a good day.